What's going on, everybody? It's Josh with the Everything Paranormal Show, and welcome to the Thanksgiving edition 2021, where we're going to be discussing some stuff about ghost busting in real life and Ghostbusters Afterlife movie. We're going to be talking about what I thought, spoiler free, by the way. That way, let's get that out at the beginning. So if you're worried that we're discussing spoilers during this, I'm going to avoid spoiling anything for you. I don't want to spoil anything for you. But we're going to talk about that. But we're going to really get into also discussing some of the real life or some of the equipment used in the Ghostbuster movies. And is that something possible, or the theory behind it? We're just going to talk about those things and see how it equates to real life ghost busting. And then, of course, any other comments that we end up having if we get anybody watching the show on a Thanksgiving night. Who knows? It's Thanksgiving, a lot of people with their family. So but I wanted to I always try to have a Thursday show for you guys. I think last week we didn't. We had a lot of things going on. There was some family emergency stuff, and everything's okay so far. We're okay. We had a good Thanksgiving today. It was nice. We got to, Terry Lynn, my wife, she got to do some cooking ahead of time last night. And then we got up and I started making some homemade Japanese milk bread rolls, some dinner rolls. And Terry Lynn got to make her turkey in the oven roaster. We did a roasted turkey. We did she made her mashed potatoes. We did stuffing. Of course, we made the gravy from the drippings of the turkey. We did green bean casserole. We made it. What else did we make? Deviled eggs. And like I said, we had the homemade bread. And I think we even had some stuffed olives, garlic stuffed olives, just to have some garlic stuffed olives. Let's see. Am I forgetting anything? It was also good. I think we had some corn and peas mixture as well. So plenty of vegetables, but it was just also good. And so I love talking about Thanksgiving. It's going to make me want to have some leftovers here soon. And then we have some pecan pie. Bigfoot and Non, happy holidays, you too. I'm glad to see you in here. So I'm excited about tonight's show just because I want to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife and the equipment and all that stuff. But I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, hey, I really hope you have good holidays. Happy holidays for you and your family. And one thing for Thanksgiving is a chance to reflect and to be thankful. And one thing I want to say is I'm thankful to you guys, my viewers, my subscribers. And even though I may not have a lot of people that watch while we're doing the live shows, I still get quite a bit of replay or participation through other ways. People text me and things and message me. So guys, I'm really thankful for you and I appreciate it. And without you, we would just be dead in the water. So you guys are what keeps me moving along. So please keep doing what you're doing. Keep being supportive of this channel and sharing and liking and all the love that you've been giving my way. So I appreciate it. So that's my Thanksgiving. And of course, I'm personally also thankful for my family, our health, those things as well. I just wanted to cover the thanks on this channel for you guys. So let's see. All right. So let's get into a little bit of Ghostbusters Afterlife. So first of all, I want to tell you that yes, there's a lot of different things out there. When you're going around and you're maybe trying to get a sense of the movie, you're going to go around to some of your favorite reviewers, movie reviewers. You're going to see headlines, critics, all kinds of people. And I would just say, ignore all of that. Ignore all of that. Screw them. Like seriously, ignore whatever they say. Some of the movie reviewers that I kind of like, even I think they may have been a little off, and some of them were already talking about it and they hadn't even seen it yet. They weren't saying negative things, but they were kind of like, hey, I'm not sure if this is even needed, blah, blah, blah. and just kind of already having a little bit of a negative attitude. So I just want to tell you, forget all that. Go just forget all the hype or the negativity, any of the stuff that you're hearing, and just go see it for yourself. If you like Ghostbusters, if you're a fan at all of Ghostbusters, just go see it. Go see it. And if you just go in there with an open mind, I really think you're going to enjoy the movie. It's going to be, you're really going to enjoy it. So, again, I'm going to talk a little bit, spoiler free. And if I mention anything specific, it's only going to be from like the trailer or something, but images from the trailer. So, what I want to say is that I've heard a variety of things. And first of all, if you hear any reviewers trying to compare this to any previous movies, quit. Don't even listen to that hype. This movie is its own thing. It's, it is a sequel. It's part of the canon original timeline. And so go see it for that. Don't worry about comparing it. Story-wise, I like the story because, and I'm gonna go here for a second. I'm gonna use Star Wars as a comparison because it rightfully is so. So, Star Wars has such a huge fan base, just like Ghostbusters. They have a very huge fan base, and they're very much passionate about those movies. So when Star Wars had to write a story that took place like 30 years later or however long, you're going to have a section of fans that didn't maybe imagine that. They didn't imagine that's the story going that in direction or whatever. And then you're going to have a lot of open-minded fans like myself that went and watched The Force Awakens with an open mind. And then you're going to have your critics that just are going to be harsh on things. So again, you just end up with this divided community nowadays. Everybody's so hypercritical. Just ignore that. Anyways, Ghostbusters is no different. You got people that love the original. They love that good blend of, the sort of horror, like comedy. It was a good blend of things, and it was a fun time. So now on the new one, again, you're going to have some of your original people that maybe just imagine Ghostbusters in a different direction 30 years from then. But in all honesty, if you go and watch Ghostbusters Afterlife with an open mind and you just go and enjoy it and have fun, just like you did back when you were a kid and you enjoyed movies and maybe you weren't so hypercritical or whatever. I'm not hypercritical, but go and enjoy it. And when you're done, you can look back. And believe me, when you get done, you want to we wanted to watch it. I know my wife, she was like, as soon as we got done, we're like, it brings the emotional. It brings the emotional. We wanted to see it again. It's like we wanted to go home or rewind it, and watch it again. And we couldn't wait to own it. We left there. We got in the car and we started blaring out the original, Ray Parker Ghostbusters out the parking lot when we left the theater. It brought that good feeling when you left a movie, not just that feeling of confusion or that feeling of, well, do I need to really debate this? Do I need to think? No, you don't. When we left there, we all were saying these things and excitement in our voices. We left the movies for the first time in a while with that type of energy leaving there. So, first serve, you're under first serve tennis. Terry Lynn's like, I didn't get emotional at all. But she's under first serve tennis. Yeah, okay. So, like I said, it brings the emotional stuff. It really does. But like I said, spoiler free. If you just look at the movie when you watch it, and then you go back and think about it. Again, there's going to be some people that may say whatever. I don't want to hear the stupid arguments about like the Force Awakens arguments where they're like, oh, it's rehash of the first original one. Shut up. Quit saying that. Don't even go there. Anyways, if you look at the story when you leave, it's going to make sense. You're going to be able to go back and pick out all the stuff and go, you get it when you watch it. Don't get me wrong. It's not one of those where you leave and go, No, when you leave, like it wraps up beautifully, and and then but I'm just saying, when you go back and you're like, well, how did they come to this? And it makes sense. After watching it, you say, okay, this is plausible from a 30-year span. This is plausible. And it all ties in the end. That's all I can say. It just all ties in. Taylor, my shirt wasn't soaked from tears at all. I know, right? Yeah, I mean, again, it's here's kind of what. So I know a lot of people were like, some of the debate with the 2016 Ghostbusters, and there's like this whole political debate stuff. Look, I'm not even worried about that right now, but here's a point that I want to make. So the difference in, say, like Ghostbusters 2016 and say this one is that, and the original, what was nice about the original is that even though there was a lot of comedy and we had a lot of like SNL actors and stuff, even though there was comedy in the movie, the subject matter was taken seriously. In fact, you remember when the team originally went into the library and they were just like, oh my God, and they're seeing this like full apparition, and there was this sense of wonderment. And when, of course, they get the surprise scare where the librarian turns into the skeletal, creepy, ghost, they like flew out of there, and they were just like running out of there and like, oh my God. And it was like everything. It was like scared, wonderment, surprise, happy, joy. They were just like everything, but they had like a humanistic reaction because they took it seriously. Whereas like maybe in the 2016 one, when they had the same type of thing, they videotaped it and sort of stood there. They set up some jokes, and it became more of a punchline for some jokes about getting stuff in crevices and things. And like I said, the humor of 2016 was also, so-so, and it was hit and miss. Again, I thought it was mediocre. I thought it was okay. But again, with Ghostbusters Afterlife, what I like about it is that it captures the same mixture of sort of that comedy, but yet they take the subject matter seriously. Same type thing. So that's, to me, what makes it a Ghostbusters movie. And if you see some similar elements between the original and the new one, so what? I mean, history repeats itself anyways. As far as things like that goes, just as far as just in life, you see the fashion trends get repeated 20, 30 years, like every 20, 30 years, it's like you just see some of the same fashion trends repeat, and, with a different little twist, and, all these things. So the point is that, enjoy it for what it is. It's a Ghostbusters movie. And what's so cool is it just will leave you with wanting more, I think, wanting more of this universe now. So I like it. Again, yes, can you imagine different storylines from a 30-year span or something, and what the Ghostbusters, I'm sure there's a lot of things people can imagine. But to me, they chose a path, a 30-year span of what happened to everything. And this sort of new generation, they chose a good storyline. They really did. For what they had, they bookended so well. So, all right. I know Terrell's trying to participate this way. If I could find it streaming anywhere, I swear I'd be sending or watching again, seeing it again. And here's the thing. Exactly. Terry Lynn's right. It's like, we left there wanting to own it right there and watch it again. I'm trying to think. There's something I was going to say to that. And that sucked because like when they had the whole, Couth pandemic thing going on, and you could like watch all the theater movies at home, that was nice. And then all of a sudden, like Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's like, oh, then you have to go to the theaters now. Like, so that's like one of the movies that where we just stopped doing that. So that kind of sucks away. I almost wish we still had that, but anyways, but no, it was nice. It really is nice to go to the movies and see it. I loved it. Um, so Taylor said 2016 sucked and did not exist to me, period. I mean, I would just say this again, 2016. Let's talk about that briefly here. Let's just get that elephant out of the room. And I did mention a little bit. So when you look back at 2016 Ghostbusters, I'm going to say that again, putting aside politics, putting aside personal feelings towards the actors themselves, with some of the things that they've said, I'm going to put that aside and just look at purely the movie. The 2016 movie. I'll look purely at that. Again, there's the movie itself. I think the idea of an all-female remake was great. It was confusing because they kept kind of making some nods to the original, but at the same time, it was considered a remake. So very confusing because the way they marketed it, but then the way they actually did it. So that kind of threw it a little off. I think if they would have just stuck to like just absolute remake, but the casting was fine, for those roles. I think each actor or actress did fine in their roles. But again, the subject matter, that's what makes a true Ghostbusters movie. And the subject matter in 2016, everything, if you look, most things were set up as a punchline instead of being taken seriously. So a lot of times when you watch the paranormal parts of 2016, it's like Scooby-Doo kind of thing. It's like that Scooby-Doo ghost type stuff. And that's the only way I can sort of compare that as a way. And again, because all the Scooby-Doo ghost stuff always turns into like some kind of punchline for Shaggy and Scoob or whatever, some kind of comical scenario. So it just felt like we were always in that comical scenario. And then we were throwing in some weird like cameos, like Ozzy Osbourne in some local New York underground concert where there was no security during the scene. And it was just weird. And things like that. And you had your main protagonist who ended up committing suicide. And then the reward of committing suicide is he's this powerful demon that can like control bodies and like body invade and just sort of become like this godlike bad guy who can make a dance off or a dance thing from the police force. Again, some of that stuff, it just, again, not very serious material. And I realize that Ghostbusters has that kind of comedy element. In the original, the gatekeeper and the keymaster, with Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver, there was a little kind of over the top, maybe acting, a little, and it was a little goofy in that sense. But there was this, sense of endangerment of Gozar coming and all this stuff. So in the original, there was some campy moments, of course, but again, the subject matter was always taken seriously. So for me, 2016, that's why I say it's mediocre, and to me, it's its own thing. So all these people that are comparing in all these haters because of sexism or whatever, misogyny, all that stuff. Oh, these people on the right versus left, all that crap. There shouldn't be no place like that in movie reviews. That's like saying that's like people's opinions, like fighting over somebody's opinion of hair color. I like blonde hair is better than red hair, or black hair. Black hair is better than red hair, blonde, whatever. Those are all preferences. Why are you arguing about them? Again, and then people say, well, it erases 2016, blah, blah, blah. 2016 erased itself because it was a remake. It's not in the canon timeline. It established that it's a remake with an all-female cast and it's its own timeline, right? So that argument is null and void. So quit trying to use that to compare. Going back to Ghostbusters Afterlife, go see it. That's what I'm going to say. Bottom line, go see it because it's its own movie, it's its own thing, and you go see it. Who cares what everybody says, really? Only care what I say. Because we're going to tell you as average viewers, not anybody with an agenda, we're just going to say, hey, go see it and have fun. Enjoy it for what it is. And believe me, you'll like that. Terrelyn says, whatever, you're more PC than I. 2016 sucked and it was awful. They even turned Thor into a bitch. I love Mr. McCarthy, but this was awful. And that's what I'm saying. There's times in the movie when the humor was fairly funny. Again, there is moments in it. That's why I said it was mediocre. We owned it. I watched it a couple times. So, but it just fell short because of not taking the subject seriously or matter seriously and really wanting to shoehorn in some really crappy jokes. So again, it was just hit and miss. And then the other thing I didn't like is, and this seems to happen a lot with some of the strong, powerful women characters, is that they're sort of given ultimate power and it's never quite earned sometimes. It's just empowerment, right? And they just load them up. Well, that's kind of one of the things in the 2016 was, it's like the original, they developed a system for ghost busting, and we're going to get into that here in a second. So they had like a proton pack, or they had like a PKE meter to locate ghosts. They had like a proton pack for actually grabbing a ghost. They had a trap to trap the ghost, and then they had a containment system to contain it. All high, crazy technology designed from Egon, super genius, and Ray, who's also an extremely intelligent person in the ghost busting team. But these guys designed this stuff very, and it seemed plausible, and it seemed, I guess, it seemed like, okay, they made the stretch for the technology. But in the 2016 one, it's like they not only developed the technology, there was no big deal about it. And it was like they had multiple like fist things, and they could shoot the fireball type things or whatever. They all of a sudden they had like an assortment of weapons, proton, based and all this stuff. And to me, something like that, yes, I thought some of the things were cool. Some of the design of some of their things were cool, but to me, it wasn't earned yet. It's like if they wanted to redo it, fine. Then they should have went with like sort of the basic stuff, like a proton pack or whatever. And then maybe in the sequel, then they were like, they could have expanded and added a bunch of weaponry or different types of weapons and things like that in the sequel, something like that. So anyway, it was just things like that to me were all rushed, and even when they went to the mayor's office, right? The difference between the original and even the 2016 version, it's like the 2016 version, they walk in, they're just like, there's ghosts, and they're just like, yeah, we know. So there was never, the subject matter was never taken seriously. So anyway, so that's why I just wanted to explain why I felt like 2016 fell short of truly capturing the spirit of Ghostbusters. And it had nothing to do with an all-female cast. I mean, I thought, hey, that could be a cool idea if it's worked right, and, it had the potential. It just fell short, and I don't think anybody wanted Ghostbusters to be remade. I think if anything, I think the story could have been a little better for sure if, like, say, the female cast, if they had inherited, if one of them maybe was related to the original Ghostbusters, they had inherited the firehouse or something, and they sort of all fell into, they were like these scientists that kind of fell into that path, as they discovered the equipment and the problems that were going on in New York, and they rose to action. And they came together, and it was a story of them coming together through this, this stuff. And I think that could have been a much better story, and it would have been in the canon, all that stuff. But in any case, I'm not here to talk about how to fix or what they could have done. So Ghostbusters Afterlife, to me, is the movie that is very well done in that sense. Again, 30-year type thing where it's like, what happened after the original stuff? What happened 30 years later? Where are we at? And I think they did a really good job, and it all pays off. So let's now, and let me finish that section, which is like 20-minute rant on different things. Let's finish it by just saying, go see it. Fuck everybody else that says whatever. Go see it. All right. Now, Dylan's like, yeah, and for the record, Josh cried a lot, like ugly cried. Thanks, honey. Thanks for throwing that out there. Anyways. Next subject. So let's talk a little bit about, and I know it's Thanksgiving. Let's talk about the equipment of Ghostbusters and what it could mean in real life. All right, so let's see here. No, I'm gonna remove that. I'm just trying to think what I want to do here, because I really wasn't totally prepared. It was like a Thanksgiving episode, and I wasn't sure if we were going to do it, but we didn't do a show last week. So I know some of you, like to spend your Thursday nights with me sometimes. So I want to look something up, maybe that way, because I want you guys to also. Okay. It sucks when I just want to be able to. All right, so here we go. Whatever. We're gonna wing this. Here we go. So this here, if you guys look, this is the PKE meter. I just went ahead and Googled it. You can see here. This is from the original movie. You guys remember the arms right here would fold open. The higher that has. So what exactly is a PKE meter? Well, I'm assuming that PKE would be the psychokinetic energy, which we talk about a lot in the world of ghost hunting. So PKE, basically Egon or Ray, they found a way to measure the psychokinetic energy. So is this device plausible? It is. I think it's plausible. I mean, I think that just like how Ghostbusters now use EMF meter, some teams will use PKE or EMF meters like a PKE meter. They think that, just because the higher the EMF, the more ghost activity there is. It's just measuring electromagnetic frequency, which does fluctuate in the atmosphere. But at the same time, if you can either use it intelligently, or again, if it coincides with paranormal activity, that's where you can use EMF. With PKE, is it plausible? I think sure, it's plausible because it's a tool. It's measured off something that could potentially be there. Psychokinetic energy. This is something that science has studied, almost like those psychic waves. So I think that if they were to, it's possible that scientists or would study the brain waves, study that, and actually physically say, hey, we now know that psychokinetic energy is this exactly right here. this form of energy, and it can be measured with this device, measures specifically that psychokinetic energy. So it is plausible, and it does fit into the world of ghostbusting. That's why I wanted to cover some of this stuff. All right. Let's see. So basically, that's where they. All right. So that's where they find a ghost, is using the PKE, right? So once they find a ghost, they've got to use a proton pack, which is like nuclear accelerated particles, right? To capture ghosts. So again, I think that this goes hand in hand with, is this plausible? Is this something that could actually be done? I'm not an expert on nuclear science and physics like that, but to me, obviously you'd have to identify ghosts themselves. Now, what they're suggesting with the PKE meter is that ghosts are like the actual body of a ghost is also psychokinetic energy. That's what they're suggesting, really, in the original Ghostbusters. That's their theory. I don't know if that's the original, like Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. I know they both were into the occult. Maybe that's their personal theory, that same psychokinetic energy is ghosts. I don't know. I can't speak for them. It'd be great to have Dan Aykroyd on the show one day. Can you imagine that? Having like the legend on my show. How cool would that be? And then I mean, I think it'd be cool because he's an actor that has, that was something he enjoys, is the occult. So it'd be kind of cool to hear a lot of his paranormal theories and things like that. I know it's probably hard when you have somebody like Dan Aykroyd on your show. It's hard to just like talk only paranormal stuff when he's been in so many movies. He's, done so much over the years. It's like you want to ask him like a million questions about his times in the early days with SNL and John Belushi and the Blues Brothers and stuff, and his stuff as a musician and ghost busting and like all the different things, the actors he's been with. The man's a legend. So how would you just bring him on the show and only talk about ghost stuff? That'd be tough, but in any case, I'd be like, Mr. Aykroyd, you're gonna have to be on my show multiple times so we can cover a bunch of things. So anyways, all right, back to where we were. I don't know. I went into that whole fan theory. I started fanboying here. All right, so proton packs again. If I'm not sure, this may be the least plausible thing in that sense, but who knows? The PKE meter out of their equipment so far, I think, is the most plausible. But I guess once you define what a ghost physically is made of, which again, if we could do that, then we'd be able to detect them. We'd be able to do all the stuff we need. And again, once Ghostbusters decided, that ghosts were made up of the psychokinetic energy, that's where the proton pack was developed as a way to capture and hold on to that physical, that psychokinetic energy, that mass called a ghost. So then once they capture the ghost, they use a trap. So it's got little wheels. They kind of throw it / roll it out. Then they have a pedal. So there's a cable attached to it. There's like a remote pedal. I don't know if they have a wireless ability in the modern ones, but they have a pedal. They're able to hold open the trap, and the trap pretty much pulls the ghost into with the light source, whatever that is. I'm not sure actually now what they were talking about the theory of the trap is. I don't know if they said exactly what it is, but I know obviously once they get that trap open, they say don't look into the light, and then whatever it is pulling that psychokinetic energy in. So whatever they have inside that trap, it's a device that emits some type of light particles that maybe attract and pull in that psychokinetic energy body of ghosts. But once it shuts, it's in a containment system, a little mini containment system that will not allow, as you know, ghosts can pretty much travel through walls and do everything. So, so obviously, this little trap will keep it contained. As far as how long, who knows? Maybe years, decades, who knows? But we do know that once they open the trap, ghosts can get back out, right? So once they get a ghost in there, they have to empty it into a containment system. I don't know if they have containment unit. So of course, we just see this kind of almost looks like some kind of thing you'd see like in a normal industrial complex. You just see the exterior part. I don't know if it's like a big vault on the other side of the wall. I mean, who knows? But inside this laser containment grid, this again is designed to keep that psychokinetic energy from being able to pass through walls, things like that. So the technology, I guess, what makes all of their technology plausible is saying that they have identified what ghosts are made up of in their world, and then the technology all is designed for that that energy, that psychokinetic energy. And so, is that all plausible? Sure, it's plausible if you were to know what ghosts are made of. So that's like the super secret. That's where everything comes down to it, right? So yeah, I really really enjoy it. I'm just gonna put on Proton Pack right here. I don't know, because that's like the all right. So actually, we can just get back off that. So that's kind of a look at some of the equipment of Ghostbusters and is it plausible, things like that. I mean, absolutely. Now later on, we could talk about the world of ectoplasm, and that's again that substance that is also that ghost related. When ghosts interact with objects, sometimes they leave that slimy residual, and we don't tend to see that in real life. Like I mean, I've heard of there has been some moments where they've talked about like ectoplasm in the real kind of world and stuff like that, but for the most part, I've not really personally witnessed anything like that with ghosts leaving those type of traces or some type of ghost slime or anything like that. But again, in their world, as I guess things are elevated and ghosts are really starting to stand out, they're no longer the veil is pretty much being removed, and ghosts are very visual and interacting, and and at that moment in New York City in 1984 or whatever, that ghosts are able to leave that ectoplasm and stuff like that. So the theory of that is very viable also. So I think it's pretty cool. I love talking about Ghostbusters in that sense. And, again, I don't want to give away anything with the second one. Other than the casting is really good. I think so. I think they did a good job with the casting. Fan service. Okay. So let me talk about fan service. I like fan service. I mean, I don't care what people say. I like fan service. I like when, I go to a movie and they have, things from a previous movie. I like when they have little Easter eggs, references. I like all that stuff. I like the fan service. when it's done right. Obviously, I don't want stuff that's over serviced. You know what I mean? I don't want that over serviced type stuff. But I think that in Ghostbusters Afterlife, the fan service that we got, I think it was done right. I think it was for the most part. You know, is this like a perfect movie? To some, who knows? I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, don't worry about what people say. Just go see it. You might think it's like the perfect movie for Ghostbusters. You might be like, you know what? This was perfect. And then later on, you might say, well, maybe there's some things, a little kind of a few groaners, who knows? But who cares? Don't listen to anybody else. You go see it on your own. And I'm telling you, go see it. Go see it. Don't just sit there and go, well, maybe I don't know if it's going to suck. I don't know, blah, blah. Just go see it. Go see it. I'm a Ghostbusters fan. Go see it. Be open-minded. All right. Jack Gaiman. Hey, good vibes. I really enjoyed the movie. Yes. Jack Gaming, my son. It's like a family show tonight, see, because it's Thanksgiving. And so I thought I would just come and do a Thanksgiving special. I really wanted to do something about Ghostbusters because I just see so much crap out there on the internet right now. And there's just so many stupid comments with some of these reviews. It's like some of these reviews, you can just tell were mean-spirited because they were politically biased toward 2016. And they view 2016 as some kind of left liberal versus right conservatives. Like if you didn't like it, you're a sexist, or you didn't like the female count, you're bigoted and all this other stuff. It's like, stop with all that. You're being an idiot. And these people are just making themselves look more and more dumb when I see that stuff. So just, if you see that, just ignore it. I mean, seriously, it's stupid. Don't worry about that. You go and you enjoy Ghostbusters Afterlife just as a fan. Erase all that and just go see it from the viewpoint of being a Ghostbusters fan. What else can we say about Ghostbusters or even real life ghostbusting? So can you capture and trap a real life spirit? Let's talk about that real quick. Because I know some people might say, well, hey, Josh, you talked about the ghostbusting stuff in the movies. What about real life? Can you really trap and contain ghosts? This is going to be an area where it would have been nice to have like Stacey Talich on the show in one respect, because I don't deal with like witchcraft, hoodoo, voodoo, any of that stuff, right? I don't really deal with much of that. I know about a lot of that. Again, I've been around the block for many years. But my point is that supposedly you can trap spirits in objects and things like that. The theory of a Dybbuk box, for example, is a theory, and supposedly you can create a real Dybbuk box. Now, the Dybbuk box did start out here in modern times in a way. The whole thing, that whole craze when you started hearing everybody talk about Dybbuk boxes, and when you research it, of course, it just goes back. This dude was like just trying to make some money off like on eBay or whatever. But I'm just using the term Dybbuk box. But there has been situations where there was spells and enchantments and like rituals to contain spirits or negative spirits, demons and stuff inside, and trap them inside of objects. So it can be done, but it's done through more of spells and enchantments. Now, this was all forbidden knowledge that was not supposed to be given to humans. It actually was heavenly knowledge. It wasn't from Satan. People like talk about some of the witchcraft as being satanic and things like that. It's not so much that. There's secrets of the universe that was kept in the heavens. And some of the fallen angels in the ancient days, when they fell to earth, they were using some of their knowledge of the universe, and they didn't know it all. They didn't know everything that God knows. In fact, God even told the fallen angels, like, "Hey, you you thought you knew like a ton of things in the universe. You really didn't. There's still so much more." But anyways, the fallen angels were using that to impress women. They were like to impress the people down on earth. And they were teaching them spells and enchantments and cutting of roots, and how to make armor, breastplate armor, and weapons and stuff like that. They were teaching these certain things. And again, this was forbidden knowledge to teach them of the enchantments. And that's why, again, is it something that we should do as humans? Should we be doing these things and going out and trying to find some kind of enchantment to trap these things? And no, again, like I said, then you are going to dabble into dark territories, because again, when you dabble in that forbidden knowledge, you are putting yourself at risk. That's where the darkness comes in. So again, I don't want to get into that debate. I'm not trying to say everybody, I'm not trying to get in that whole religious debate or anything. I'm just letting you know why it's considered that forbidden knowledge. I know where that comes from. But yes, so can you trap spirits and demons? Supposedly you can, through that type of means, not through like an actual proton pack or any kind of modern technology that we know of. Again, I wouldn't try it. So that's not my thing. Tara Lynn just wanted to throw in, I'm a female in 2016 sucked. I know we covered that though. We covered that, honey. I love you. I think really when we watched and I'm not going to get too much back into the 2016 thing, but I did want to say, I know when we watched it, when it came out and Tara Lynn and I watched it, I think we both felt like it. I could kind of tell, because I know my wife, and I'm just going back to that time. It's like we hadn't had anything Ghostbusters in years. And I'm not talking about video games or anything. I'm just saying movie wise on the big screen. And so I think there was a part of us that was trying to cheer for it. It's like you're trying to cheer for it. And so when you got done watching it, it's like, okay, and like I said, I knew it was kind of mediocre, but I was trying to give it more credit than it deserved. And it's one of those movies that as time goes by, and then if you watch it a few times, you just kind of like, each time you're going, yeah, I was really hoping, and it just, it just doesn't age well. So I think Terry Lynn, finally got to that point, and especially after seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife, and you see what a Ghostbusters, what the overall feeling that a Ghostbusters movie should give you, and the subject matter being taken seriously, all those things. So when you see something like that, then it puts that in perspective, saying, yeah, 2016 one did suck, And so I think that's where Terry Lynn's at now, because I've never heard her be as vocal about it until Afterlife. So anyways, but I don't know. That's probably getting about it for the show. I just wanted to come on here for a Thanksgiving special, tell you guys that I'm thankful for everything you guys have done, viewer wise. I love being able to do this for you guys. I have more stuff planned. I know I've talked about it a lot, about some future things. I know I've talked about Paraflix. This last sort of half of the year, we've gotten extremely busy. What do you mean read my announcement? What are you talking about? What announcement? Anyway, but let me finish my point. I know, like we talked about, you guys have probably heard me over this last few months, especially, where I'm talking about doing more content and future things, and then yet you only see me on Thursdays. So, oh yeah, I know what you're saying, honey. So the announcement, and this is what I'm talking about. So So like I am going to try to do more stuff. I talked to Terry Lynn about it, and 2022 we're really hoping is going to be a little better. I meant better than for society too, because you know, going into 2021, when we finally got to do something in spring, and like when we finally got to work out a deal with Paraflix, and we got our series, the Para Explorers, we were like so excited. And then we got to film the first episode, and then life has just been so hectic. It's been so hectic. And it just hasn't been easy with the way the world's been. Um, just and then now as we face times of inflation, um, again, I'm not trying to be political, but I'm just talking about reality right now. You know, we have a lot of things in the country that are driving cost of gas, inflation. You know, one of my jobs um, is it costs me gas money every night. I have to pay for my own gas, and I drive a few hundred miles every night. So gas prices are hurting me, and you know, breakdowns, equipment. We've had some family illnesses, just a little bit of everything this back half of the year in these last few months. So, guys, you know, hang in there, please. We're still been growing. We just broke 1,000 subscribers recently. We're hanging right there. So stay with me. We're trying to do good things. And like I said, we are going to bring you more. We are going to make even more of an effort to start clearing our schedules. It's tough. We've got a case. We got an investigation that, you know, people have been needing our help, and we haven't been able to coordinate times to go and do that investigation because life has been so hectic and so crazy. It's really tough. So that's why I don't tend to do a lot of cases, but I also don't like people to go without help either. So, but anyways, one of the things too, and Terry Lynn wants me to read the announcement, but she said, everyone, please check out Josh's new Fatal Frame playlist on this channel. It is epic. Love it. So what she's referring to is, from time to time, I also like to, for some of you that may like some gaming, if I have gaming that is maybe paranormal related, or, you know, just ghosts, whatever, I mean, scary stuff, I try to do that for this channel every once in a while. But Fatal Frame was one of those video games. I've talked about it on this channel before. It's a Japanese style horror game, similar to, like, for those of you like The Grudge and things like that, or maybe The Ring, I think. But you know, it's the love for it started way back, you know, when my wife and I went and we wanted something. Like, she enjoyed watching me play some video games back then, you know, back when I used to play a lot more, like PS2 time. We're talking about like PS2 times. And so she'd watch me. She'd just lay there, like at the end of the night or day or whatever, or nighttime. And she'd lay there next to me or sit next to me and just watch me play sometimes as we decompressed. And so one time we were looking for maybe a possibly scary game at the store, because she likes scary stuff. I didn't really want to, but, you know, at the time I was just thinking, look, there's never really been an actual good scary game. There was like Silent Hill and stuff like that. So I thought, well, hey, you know, Silent Hill, I can shoot some guns, whatever. But she really wasn't too much into that. And then we were at the game store one day, and we came across Fatal Frame Crimson Butterfly. Or Crimson Butterflies, I don't remember. But Crimson Butterflies. So we came across Fatal Frame. Now, we didn't know, I don't think we caught on, but I don't think we realized that it was actually part 2 of a series. We just saw the cover, and it looked kind of creepy, and it was like Crimson Butterflies, Fatal Frame. Like, okay, this could be creepy. So we get back to the house, and I start playing it, and we're just in this creepy village location out in the middle of nowhere. And the cutscenes were done very well. They weren't like a lot of your normal video game stuff back then, and it was genuinely creepy. I mean, there was things that you just, and they had the little sound effects and chimes and bells and things that really caused the hairs on the back of your neck to stand up or catch your attention. It was very well done. And the thing was, is that you're in this situation, and in that game, you're playing as, really these almost like either teenagers, I'm thinking was, I think, roughly their age, maybe even early teens, but you're playing as girls, these little girls, so to speak, and you don't have any weapons. You're not like in a Silent Hill or a zombie game, Resident Evil or something. You're not there to shoot zombies or, shoot stuff. You're just in this super creepy environment in these dark areas, and then these ghosts come out, and all you have is this camera. It's called the camera obscura. And the camera obscura is a camera that can capture and even exorcise ghosts. It's like spirit photography. So there's types of film that's more powerful. There's different upgrades on the camera. But in the end, it's just a camera. So you're looking through this viewfinder. It's pretty terrifying. And then they got the way they do the sound effects when the ghosts are around you, and they're just like, there's stuff in your ear, the music, and the creepiness of the characters, that Japanese style again, like Grudge style characters. It's just very creepy. There's a great storyline that's a little it's crazy, but it's a great storyline. You end up getting pulled deeper into this world, and the locations get sort of just darker and darker in terms of just tone. Instead of these abandoned homes and villages that were kind of creepy, now we start getting to these locations that are just getting more and more underground or cult-like darkness, sacrificial stuff. It's very well done. And so it just, and Terry Lynn, of course, loved watching me play that. And she loved my reactions and stuff. Because I hate scary games and that. So then we ended up doing Fatal Frame 3. We tracked that down because we actually did after 2, like when we played it, we're like, oh my God, is there more? We started doing research, and sure enough, there was a Fatal Frame 1, a Fatal Frame 3 at the time. So we played 3. And 3 was good too. Like 3, I think it was called The Tormented. And that was also really good. To me, I don't know if it topped 2, but it was right there. It was really good. And I really enjoyed that one as well. So, but then we were like stuck. We're like, well, there's no more left. So we went back to Fatal Frame 1. And 1 was okay. It wasn't quite as good as 2 or 3 because in Fatal Frame 1, they still had a few more cheesier kind of effects. So the scare factor wasn't as much, I guess. Maybe a little more arcade-ish style in some of the fighting. But ultimately, it's like they were there. They were like on the cusp of creating a really good scary game. So Fatal Frame 1 was good just to play it, but 2 is where it really took off. Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterflies. That's where I always tell people, start there, right? Carolyn says, just show the intro to the second episode. I don't know, honey. Why do you gotta? No. Okay, so here we go. We'll try to. Where is this at? Here we go.
No, don't do that creepy walk. guys, we're back for the second drop. Let's get started. Oh,
So there you go. You can kind of see a little bit of, what we're talking about there. I don't know. Let's see. Can we go? So you can even see, I think, in this beginning, this is the first one.
oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh.
There you go. So, what do you guys think of that little gaming intro? I try to have a separate little intro for whenever we do video gaming. But anyways, so yeah, there's a couple of the intros for the most recent couple sessions. So, and yes, I have my my Razer, my Kraken Kitty headphones. I love those headphones. I love the headphones. They're such good. Yes, I inherited them from my wife, but I don't care. I love them. They're such good headphones. The Razer, I'm telling you, really good quality wise. So yeah, there you go. There's a little bit of some peek at the first couple episodes. So yeah, as I was saying, we played 1, 2, 3, and then there was really not a lot left. The only thing they would release was some Japanese one. Well, I guess in 2014 they released a Maiden of Blackwater. I think it was like on GameCube or something. I don't know. It was something we didn't have, and all this other stuff. But then they like redid it, and like now it's like out there, like remastered on Steam or whatever. I don't know, but either case, that's what I'm playing. So I'm playing Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater, and I'm playing it on Steam. I'm playing on the PC. Really good. Again, you just have to check it out. I don't want to give it away, but it's been very fun, and I've been trying to release the episodes as soon as I can. They're not live. They are edited a little bit, so, but I'll probably record another one here, or I'll probably record a couple over the next few days, possibly, because I am off for Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'll record one tonight because we got some plans, later on. But yes, we got some stuff like for this weekend. So I'll be releasing, I would say, probably by the end of this weekend, we may release one or maybe even 2 episodes coming up. So definitely go check it out. Other than that, I think that's about all I got, guys. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Go see Ghostbusters Afterlife. Thank you again for all your guys' support. We're from myself and Terry Lynn and even my son Christian. We want to say as a family to all of our wonderful, wonderful audience, happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Remember, seek the truth.